I was born a communist, but 30 years ago, I became a capitalist. Now, I know that can be a little bit shocking, so I'll give you a moment to let that sink in. And I know, I get it. I don't look a day over 21. But in all seriousness, my name is Maria. I'm the proud daughter of 2 immigrant parents, and I've seen firsthand the truly transformative power of capitalism. I've also had the privilege of building a 14-year career in finance, most recently managing over $1 billion of assets. And so it's with this context that I'd like to share a couple of stories with you today, from my personal and professional background. I want to share what I've learned from those experiences about capitalism. Through these stories, I'll be sharing 3 key lessons that I've learned about how the system works today, so that you know what you can do to get more from this system without destroying the planet or each other in the process. So let's begin at the beginning. So my introduction to capitalism was probably a little bit different to yours. See, I learnt about it from the outside because I was born in communist China. And the China that I grew up in was very different to the China that we all know today. It wasn't technologically advanced. It didn't have the second largest GDP in the world. It didn't run on a state capitalist system that has helped the economy achieve all of those things. The China that I grew up in was poor. And the government controlled everything, from jobs to housing, to how many children you could have, which, for the record, was just 1 at the time. And in this environment, I learned from my parents about these amazing, magical things like basic liberties, like freedoms, like human rights. These incredible gifts that so many of us in the Western world take for granted today. My parents did everything that they could in order to move our family to Australia. They did this to give me a chance at a different life, a better life. They did this to change my destiny. And they succeeded. My very existence here today on this stage is living proof of the incredibly positive and transformative power that capitalism can bring. And I'm not the exception. We see this pattern of positive action repeated all over the world. If we look at the levels of extreme poverty, in 1981, they were at 44% at a global level. In 2024, that had fallen to less than 9%. If we look at life expectancy, again at a global scale, it was 66 years in the year 2000. That's increased to 73 years in 2019. Now, I could give you more numbers, but I was told that would mean more citations. So I decided against it. And you know, numbers, much like my age, it doesn't really matter. What matters is what we learn from them. So that brings me to lesson 1. And that is, money is a multiplier. Done well, it can build schools. It can cure diseases. It can lift people out of poverty. Done poorly, it exploits people. It builds machines that destroy the planet. And it pits people against each other in the pursuit of monetary gains. But money on its own in a capitalist system, it's nothing more than just a tool, and it will just scale what's already there. So if capitalism is not inherently good or bad, then why does it keep going wrong? And the answer to that question led me to lesson number 2. And this is a lesson on human nature and our propensity to want to focus on the short term. See, I thought about getting really scientific for this bit. I thought about talking about the prefrontal cortex, the limbic system, bringing our monkey brains into the conversation, even dopamine. But then I remembered that there is a non-insignificant constituent in the audience that have PhDs and doctorates. And I'm just a business person. So I'm going to stay in my lane and talk about what I do know. And what I do know is the human experience. And as a human, I know that thrill of instant gratification. And you know what? Corporations know it too. And that is what the entire modern architecture of capitalism is built on. My story, unfortunately, is no exception. You see, after my parents' early sacrifices, I got an incredible education and landed a really fancy job. And then I just kept trading up from there. By the time I hit age 30, I'd become a vice president at a global investment bank. I was managing over $1 billion of other people's money. I'd become financially rich. But I was also so deeply unhappy. Because what they don't tell you about the pursuit of these short-term things, these promotions, these bonuses, you pay with a different price. And I paid with my future. I missed family holidays because I really needed that extra time to prepare for that really big client meeting and that next client meeting. I missed anniversaries until there were no more anniversaries to miss. I missed every one of my grandmother's birthdays in the last decade, except for the last one. I was living financially wealthy, but emotionally and spiritually, I was bankrupt. And this is the part of the story where I would like to tell you that I took a good hard look at myself. I came to my senses and completely changed my ways. But that's not how it happened. What happened is I kept going and going until something really bad happened. Something that completely stopped me in my tracks. It was my grandmother. She got a stroke. First, it took the function of one side of her body. Then it took her speech. Then she drifted into a coma. And all of this happened in a couple of weeks. And in those moments where my grandmother's life hung on the line, everything that I had achieved, every dollar that I had made, it meant absolutely nothing. And that's when I came to appreciate the deeper implications of lesson 3. And that's the profit formula. Profit is a function of people, which is to say, profit is made by people. See, that part's the obvious part. I knew that. But in those last moments when I was with my grandmother, what I came to understand was this formula at a deeper level. That Without people, there is no profit. Without people, profit serves no function. Without people, money has literally no value. So, after my wake-up call, I really wanted to turn my back on the capitalist system. I wanted to say the whole damn system is broken, and I wanted to blame it for everything that was wrong in my life. I was so angry. Angry with myself, angry with the system, but being angry doesn't help anyone. And as I started to push through those feelings of anger, of shame, of regret, and I started to come out the other side, I started to realize something that's fundamentally shifted the way that I see capitalism. And what I came to realize is this: the system isn't broken. We've just been doing it wrong. You see, we've been running the whole system backwards. We've been multiplying the effects of short-term decision-making, pushing people for a profit, exploiting them for gains. But it doesn't have to be this way. And we can fix it. And the solution? It's so simple. All we have to do is operate the very same system, but in reverse. So what does that look like? So if we start from the bottom now, imagine, what if instead of pushing people to make a profit, exploiting people for gains, we sought to make profit for people? What if instead of defaulting to our monkey brains and doing what feels good in the short term, we stopped for that moment before making a decision, before taking action, and thought about the longer term consequences? What if we did both of those things and then fed them back into the capitalist machine and multiplied those outcomes instead? Imagine what the capitalist machine can do with those new inputs. It can be the greatest force for good that the world has ever seen. Just think about the progress, the purpose, the positive change that we could make. And when I realized this, I stopped being angry. And I started to dream again. I dream of a world where capitalism drives profits for people. And it does it at scale. And I truly believe that it is entirely possible. And that's why I'm here today, sharing this message and a story that I'd much rather not share. Because if there's even the smallest chance that I can help someone else learn the same lessons that I had without going through what I've gone through, it would have been worthwhile. But to change an entire system, I can't do that alone. So, if any part of my story resonates with you, please join me in making a change. You don't need to do what I'm doing. You don't need to stand here and share your deepest, darkest secrets with the world. All you need to do is the next time you're faced with a decision, ask yourself these 3 questions. Number 1, is what I'm about to do, the decision I'm about to make, going to benefit people? Or is the pursuit of profit the sole agenda? If it is only the numbers, only the money that you care about, go back, try again. Number 2, is the decision that I'm about to make something that I'll be happy with, 5 years, 10 years into the future? Or does it just feel good right now? If there is any hesitation, go back, try again. And when you're comfortable with those 2 steps, and only when you are comfortable with those 2 steps, then feed those new inputs back into the system and watch as the capitalist machine multiplies those positive outcomes for you, for the business, for the world at large. I believe that capitalism can be the most powerful tool for good that the world has ever seen, if only we used it the right way. So, no matter who you are, whether you're a founder or a freelancer, an employee or an employer, whether you're a people manager or a project manager, I want you to know that you have the power to make a change. You have the power to reshape the future, and you can make it better. And on that note, I'd like to close with a final thought. And it's this. Numbers don't matter. And words are cheap. It's actions that speak volumes. So let your actions speak.